Good morning, students. Today we are going to talk about ecosystem. You are quite aware about this ecosystem around you. So, what does an ecosystem consist of, or what is actually an ecosystem? As you can see in the image behind the presentation, means on this slide, you can see the image of the slide of the ecosystem. You have seen different varieties of ecosystem like desert ecosystem, lake ecosystem, or river ecosystem. So what does the term ecosystem means of? So the concept of ecosystem is like it is a region with a specific recognizable landscape. Recognizable means you know what a river is, you know what ocean is, you know what a forest look like, you know what is a garden. A garden itself is an ecosystem. An aquarium is an ecosystem. Some are man-made, some are natural. Moving further, so what does ecosystem means? Now, studying an organism in their environment is considered to be an ecosystem. So, organism can be a particular single organism. It could be a population, a group of population of the organism, or it could be a community, studying a community, or it could be the whole ecosystem. So, if you are only studying an organism, whole thing differs. Then we talk about the population, how different organisms interact with each other. Then we talk about the community, how different communities has been formed, how they interact. All this comes in ecosystem because they survive in a certain area, in a certain specific region. The nature of the ecosystem is based on its geographical features, such as hills are there, mountains are there, plains like plateau are there, rivers have different type of survival feature, lakes, coastal area or island are different. It is also controlled by the climatic condition, such as the amount of sunlight, the temperature, the rainfall that the region is receiving. For example, a person, a student living in a desert region must have different way of living and organizing his thing compared to a person who is living in a marine area. The geographical and soil climate means this type of characteristics form its non-living components, the dependability of the non-living components. Now these features create conditions that support a community of plants, animals, and on the basis of their surroundings, the availability, they evolve, they produce to live in this specific condition. So in general terms, they adapt. The adaptation of the surrounding. So some questions might have arisen in your mind if not, I'm just suggesting some that what limits the production in ecosystem. What is a we'll talk about the utility and utilization value in the next lectures also. How do the nutrients move in the ecosystem? Or it would be like that how the energy flows in the ecosystem, for which we are going to talk about different type of energy cycles, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycles, and all. Then comes how does energy move through the ecosystem, the energy movement and the cycles, energy cycle. Some of the essential questions which are necessary for you to understand the flow of the ecosystem, the flow of the nature, like the way you understand the flow of any question, any algorithm. So let's come to the basic definition or understanding of ecosystem. As you can see, what is required in an ecosystem. So a ecosystem has some of the three major components, or you can say more. The first component is the biotic and abiotic factors. Now, ecosystem, why do require a biotic and abiotic factor? Means the ecosystem doesn't only consist of the living organism like plants, and it also consists of the abiotic factor like stones, soils, from which the flow of energy is transferred. Now, a transform of energy and the processing of the matter is one of the things that you need to understand. The second thing, this all things, after capturing the energy, it has to be transferred through the abiotic component to the biotic one, and this makes the ecosystem a self-sustaining. Means a self-sustaining cycle will be there, and to have a self-sustaining cycle, we require three major components: that is the capturing of energy, the transfer of energy, and the cycle of nutrients. So these three major components make an ecosystem. So what does your textbook definition says? The textbook which has been referred to you. The first thing is, it says that an ecosystem is the region with a specific and recognizable landscape form such as forest, grassland, desert, wetland and coastal areas. The nature of the ecosystem, as I have already explained, is based on the geographical features. Now the geographical features, climatic soil change, etc., 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 that helps them in the evolution of the condition of the evolving condition of the organism. So you are quite aware about this now, that the living component of the ecosystem is referred to as the biotic one, the biotic component. Organisms like plant, humans, etc., animals also, etc., are considered as the biotic component. So there are mainly two major habitat has been conditions for the Earth's living organism. One is the terrestrial, we called it the land-based ecosystem, and the another one is aquatic, like ocean, sea, means uh, whatever the ecosystem that has been developed on water. All the living organisms in an area are living communities of plants and animals. They interact with their non-living environment and with each other at different points in the time for a large number of reasons. Life can exist only in a small portion of Earth's land, water, and its atmosphere, as I have talked in the lecture earlier on. At a global level, the thin skin of Earth on land, the sea, and the air forms the biosphere. So you know what is biosphere. So you can say that this, uh, see, as I've already explained you in the lecture earlier, the Earth environment is classified into spheres. One is called biosphere, one is called the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. Biosphere is the region in which life is there. Life, uh, it consists of lithosphere, a part of lithosphere, a part of hydrosphere, a part of atmosphere, and it also consists of the living biotic components like us. Then comes the terms the biogeographical realms. Means you have seen many of the movies about the realms. I mean, so every one of you have watched this movie of MCU Marvel Universe, the Avengers. They have different realms. If you, I don't remember exactly in which part it has, but there is a term realms. What does it means? This is nothing but a sub-global level. Means we classify it in different levels. Let's say mm, South Asia or Southeast Asia, or you can say Eurasia, which is called the Palearctic realm. Then comes the South and Southeast Asia, provided in this slide, is called the Oriental realm. The North America is the Arctic realm, and the South America forms the means it forms the Neotropical realm. Africa is in the Ethiopian realm, and Australia comes in Australian realm. These are some of the important, you can say, you can mark those terms here. It could be asked in multiple choice. Now, this about realm. The realm is the huge amount of land compared to a city. But when we talk about micro level, realm could be a macro level. When we talk about the micro level, then the forms of means the classification and the division is considered to be is called to be biogeographic regions, like say the Himalayan region, the Indo-Gangetic plain, like that. For example, there are several different geographical regions in India: the Himalayan, the Gangetic plain, the islands of central India. So I don't know any of you have visited those places. The Western and Eastern Ghats, the semi-arid desert in the west, Deccan Plateau, Andaman Nicobar Island, the coastal belts. Now, these geographical distinctive areas have plants and animals that have been adapted to live each of this region. At an even more local level, each area has several structural and functional identifiable ecosystem. Each region has an ecosystem, like forest, urban, mangrove is there, river catchments are there, delta and other type of regions are there. So basically, the ecosystem, as I have told you, are in two different types. They are called terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem. So the terrestrial ecosystem means, now see, we have talked about realms. On Earth, we have talked about realm, and we have talked about the region, the biogeographical region. And in the region, there are types of ecosystem which are majorly classified into terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem. The terrestrial ecosystem consists of forest, grassland, the semi-arid areas, desert, mountain, island, while the aquatic ecosystem consists of pond, lake, wetlands, river, delta region, marine, and other things. The ecosystem has been formed on land and the sea by the evolution that has been created species to live together in a specific region. Thus, ecosystem has both living and non-living that are typical to an area, giving to it to its own special characteristics, and those are easily observable. So, again, I am repeating that as per the definition, the ecosystem is nothing but the living community of plants and animals in any area together with the non-living component of the environment, such as soil, air, and water, constitute the ecosystem. Now, some ecosystems are robust, very robust. Those are not affected or very less affected by the human disturbance. Some are fragile, very highly fragile, and they quickly got destroyed by human activities. For example, mountain ecosystems are extremely fragile as the degradation of forest cover leads to severe erosion of soil, changes in river course. The mountain ecosystem means it get degraded, it get destroyed. Island ecosystem are also affected easily by human activity, and that could lead to the effective rapid extinction of several of their unique species of plants and animals. See, most of the examples of fragile ecosystem only. Evergreen forest, coral reefs are also examples of species-rich ecosystem. Those are fragile that can easily be destroyed or easily getting destroyed by human activities. The river and wetland ecosystem are also one of the fragile example that got destroyed easily by the effect of pollution and changes in the surrounding in their land use. So while understanding the ecosystem, what you should have to consider? What should we consider by understanding the type of ecosystem? Okay, now we will talk about the understanding of the ecosystem and how we are degrading the ecosystem and the utilization in the next lecture.